number?
Sheldon Hullet, student number is 217741. This is a PowerPoint presentation on the nutritional requirements in relation to prevention, management and treatment of diseases and health. What I have done is I've picked the 4 biggest health concerns at the minute in Britain, which are cancer, obesity, diabetes and coronary heart disease. First off is cancer. Now, a lot of information that I've found with Cancer UK. At the moment, cancer is responsible for more than 1 in 4 deaths in the UK. In 2012, it stated that 162,000 deaths were from cancer, and that equates to around about 254 deaths every 100,000 people, which means that 29% of deaths in the UK was caused by cancer. A little bit of information, obviously I know it's nutritional in relation to prevention, but cancer can be caused by nutritional as well. This can be led from canned foods, which contain a toxic chemical called bisphenol A or BPA. What that tends to do is called cellular dysfunction. Some of the chemicals that are in the bisphenol actually causes mutations within the cell, especially within the liver and stomach as it's being digested. It reacts with some of the amino acids in the digestive system, and that can lead to mutations. Another one is sodium nitrate, high levels of it, and it carries carcinogens. Studies have shown that this again can cause mutations in the cells, which again can lead to cancer. Moreover, stomach, liver and kidney through the digestive system. Right, the prevention and management of nutrition in relation to cancer. Eating a very balanced diet, it's going to decrease the risk of getting cancer for starters. Not just eating a healthy balanced diet, but eating a good amount. Something that I've found myself is large meals can often cause overproduction of acid in the stomach, which again can help mutate cells over a longer period of time. Vitamin D is great for reducing the risk of developing cancer. Again, a bit of sunlight. You can find vitamin D in all your foods, such as salmon, such as mackerel and sardines. Great to have. I'd always recommend sardines on toast in the morning. A bit of vitamin D there for you. Fibre. Now the reason for fibre is, I did a bit more research on this because I was a bit confused as to why fibre was up there. Now what fibre does, it's an absorption chemical. It absorbs nutrition. So when you're eating fibre, it's best to have it with your vitamins. So again, if I was to recommend a type of diet, it would be a bowl of porridge with banana, an orange and an apple, because what the fibre in the porridge will help do is the body to absorb the vitamins at a higher rate than normal. So yeah, that's what fibre can help do. Research shows that certain types of food groups, such as vitamins, help reduce the risk of cancer. Again, the more vitamins you have, the better your immune system is. I think that's what we need to stress. The better your immune system is, the less likely you'll have mutations within cells. High levels of red meat can be harmful. It can cause stomach cancer. Again, the reason being is because of the overproduction of acid within the body. I mean, you've got to think about, if you took a pot of acid and you poured it over some type of fabric, it may not be a high strength acid, but over time of constantly pouring it at high levels, it may erode the fabric at some point. And again, this is what you're doing to your stomach when you put loads of red meat in. And the thing is about meat, apart from protein and fibre, it has no real vitamin in it. So, unless you are exercising and using it for repair and growth, meat can sometimes cause danger. And recent studies show if you're a vegetarian, you have a 29% better decrease of getting cancer than you do if you are eating meat. and this is one of the reasons why. Avoid processed foods with high levels of carcinogens, like I've said before, mutates cells or, as been seen. Smoking, high levels of alcohol, drugs and unhealthy eating. Again, your body can't cope with it over an amount of time. If you put in nicotine into your body, but it's not just nicotine that you put into your body. You put in other types of drugs in there. Promotions and initiatives for cancer. The NHS has the Eat Well plate, a balanced diet, which states exactly how much protein, carbohydrates and vitamins you need to take daily. The World Health Organization has an EPIC study report, and this EPIC study report is foods to avoid that can cause cancer, foods that prevent cancer. It's an interesting piece of article, to be honest with you. It has the 10 best foods to eat to prevent cancer and also to manage cancer. The Natural On report, 16 foods that can cause cancer. Now this is a great report. It's not governed by the government or anything like that, but it is written by people with PhDs. It does state it at the bottom who it's been written by, and a lot of them are doctors who have got together and composed 16 foods that will cause cancer from studies shown. And the helpguide.org cancer prevention diet plan. Again, it's just a normal everyday diet plan, but it's foods that will help prevent getting cancer or just to better your lifestyle, if anything. Okay, the next one, obesity. Now, obesity is one of the biggest killers at the moment, one of the biggest health concerns in Britain at the moment. We've seen since 1999, we've seen an increase, across everybody, really, males, females and children. Again, if you have a quick look on the presentation, it tells you what your BMI should be and how you're considered, if you're considered obese. And it clearly says here, anything over 25, you're just overweight. Between 25 and 40, you'll be in the obese and severely obese. Don't really like BMI much. I'll give you an example why. The strongest lifter in Britain is called Eddie Hall, and he weighs 27 stone, and according to his BMI, he should be bedridden. So, not always something to go by with BMI, but it's in there. 1 in every 4 adults, around 1 in every 5 children aged 10 to 11 in the UK are classed as either overweight or obese. Serious numbers there. As you can see, we are dealing with it at a high risk. The risk of obesity. The problem is when you're that big, your body finds it harder and slower to get insulin into the body. Now, I will explain a lot more about diabetes in the presentation, but just to give an overview, the bigger you are, the slower the insulin will get into your body. So that can cause diabetes even if you don't have it. Coronary heart disease, your body can't pump that much blood around the body if there's loads of fat surrounding it. Types of cancer, such as bowel and breast. The reason being is because if there's a load of fatty tissue surrounding the ducts within the breast, again that can cause them to mutate. Same with the bowel. If you've got a load of fat around your bowels, digestion is harder, your body can produce more acids and toxins than need be. Strokes, very simply why, if you're restricting the blood flow to the brain due to fat around the veins, you're more likely to get a stroke. Causes of obesity. Quite a lot of things actually. The more you look into it, the more you realise how easy it is to let yourself go and be classed as obese. Especially if you go by BMI. But a large amount of calorie intake. Now, for men and women, for men it's 2,500, and for women it's between 1,800 and 2,000, depending on what articles you read, what books you read, it does vary. If you're exercising, again, it needs to be a little bit more, so women would be up to 2,000 to 2,500, and men, again, 3,000, 3,500 region. Large amounts of saturated fats. Now, not all fats are bad. We need to stress this a lot. Some fats do contain great amino acids, beta-alanine, and things like that, it's the saturated fats that are bad for you. Unsaturated, not so bad, but again, I wouldn't have that in large amounts either, but certainly not saturated. So at the moment, foods have got the traffic light system. Again, I think it'll be explained in the initiatives, but it basically tells you if it's high, medium or low in your salts, your fats, your calories. So it's great to just look. It doesn't hurt you. I mean, if you are taking high levels of saturated fats, regardless of whether you exercise or not, you are going to get obese. High levels of salt. Again, salt, it's not good for you. It causes cholesterol problems. And with cholesterol comes blood clots, it comes strokes, high blood pressure, can also affect the blood sugar level. Again, low levels of exercise and fitness to none. Again, if you're eating big and you're eating crap, you need to do some form of exercise if you stand any chance. It's very simple. It's like the seesaw theory. You know, if one end you're eating a lot and the other end you're not exercising, it'll be tilted one way. Vice versa. You know, if you are not eating very much and you exercise a lot, you know, you can also cause yourself damage there. Hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is quite simply an overactive or underactive thyroid. More commonly underactive in the case of obesity, but obviously I have to specify that it can be either. But in the causes of obesity, it will be an underactive thyroid, and again, this can lead to heart conditions, cholesterol conditions, and strokes. Prevention and management and treatment of obesity, very simply, balanced diet, controlled calorie diet, recommended by your GP or weight loss management health professional, such as a dietitian or a personal trainer. But again, if you go on the NHS and you look at the Eat Well plate, fantastic, you know, follow it. And also to specify, you know, measure what you're eating. Get some activity. Now they do say it's 150 to 300 minutes a week. It's not very much. It's half an hour a day. So even a 30-minute jog will help you reduce the chance of being obese. The little one at the bottom, I did a little bit of research on. It's not just what you eat, but how you eat. Sometimes if you eat fast and plenty, it's not good for you. Have short breaks. You know, have a drink in between. Let your body start to digest what you've already eaten. You know, don't just pile it all in your stomach. Again, don't restrict your activities. You know, sit watching TV, playing games. Get out. You know, do something. Do some type of activity. You know. So yeah, if you just take a quick look again, it's just about, you know, activities that you should be doing rather than not. Promotions, Change for Life program. Again, it tells you how to eat, what best to eat, you know, your vitamins, your minerals. The business now promote healthy eating, and it's called the Public Health Responsibility Deal. And basically, it's companies who help people in work to diet. You know, either longer breaks or they offer things within the canteens, an alternative healthy balanced diet, you know, such as your vegetables. So they're getting involved as well, because a lot of people do say, you know, some of the biggest excuses are, I work, I haven't got time for the gym, I haven't got time to eat well. Well, no, not anymore kind of thing, because your company should be providing it, you know, it should be in the canteen, healthy eating options. The Public Health England Tackling Obesity paper, it was released in 2011. It gives you great statistics on what's happening at the moment in the UK. It can give you a great look at, you know, how bad things are getting and how to deal with them health-wise. Diabetes. So just quickly, there are two types of diabetes. Type 1. Type 1 is, you're more than likely to be born with this, and it is found more often than not in children. The pancreas doesn't produce any type of insulin whatsoever. Type 2, where it differs, is the pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin, or the body doesn't react to insulin, it doesn't allow it in. Again, the reason obesity affects this is because the more fat you have surrounding your body, the less insulin can get into the bloodstream. More glucose can't get into it, into the system. Insulin is the key. Glucose is trying to get into the door, into the body. The insulin is the key. Being obese can prevent the insulin allowing the glucose into the body. In the UK, 1 in 20 people are thought to have or be diagnosed with diabetes, and 90% of those are affected by type 2. Risk factors of diabetes. Four of the main risks of developing diabetes are simply age. If you're over 40, you have a higher increase of developing diabetes just because of the body's slow reaction to food processing. Genetics, again, if your parents both have it, you have a good chance of developing it at some type of life, if you're not born with it. Weight, I've already specified being overweight. It can slow the body's reaction down for food processing, which means absorption as well. So glucose getting into the body via insulin can be affected. And ethnicity. Again, it is seen that being South Asian, Chinese, or black African origin can develop it, even if you are born in the UK. Treatments, diet, weight and level of physical activity. Very simply, if you're not eating well, not active enough, and if your body weight's too much, you increase your risks of getting diabetes. You need plenty of activity. It's a mixture. You need that neutral mixture of diet and exercise in order to gain a realistic and healthy weight where your body can perform properly. And I'm talking about absorption. I'm talking about just functioning. If you've got cholesterol problems and things like that, that's going to help cause diabetes as well. Treatment, type 1 is just simply an insulin injection straight into the bloodstream or through fatty tissues in the body. You can do an insulin pump therapy. Basically, it's attached to you and it just constantly pumps insulin into the body. Medication-wise, metformin is a medication that you can also take, which helps glucose get into the bloodstream through insulin, and diabetic foods. But just to note quickly on diabetic foods, we did do a bit of research in class not long ago, and some of the sugar in diabetic foods are just as bad as normal non-diabetic foods, so we really do have to read the label there. And glycemic index. Now, your glycemic index is basically a ranking of carbohydrate foods based on the effect that it'll have on the bloodstream. So it's given a number from, I believe it's 1 to 100. And basically, if it's the lower it is, the better it is. So if it's closer to 100, it's not very well. Sorry. So it's again, it's just a little method for people with diabetes to measure how much carbohydrates and foods they're having that can affect their blood system, and what to keep away from. Again, if it's high number, you probably need to keep away from it. If it's a lower number, it's better to have. And again, as it states here, it will reduce symptoms and causes type 2 diabetes if you do follow the glycemic index ranking. Again, lastly, coronary heart disease. So just quickly, it's the leading cause of death in the UK and worldwide at the moment. It's responsible for 70,000 deaths in the UK each year, while about 1 in 6 men and 1 in 10 women die from it. In the UK, estimated 2.3 million people are currently living with a heart disease. High numbers, really. If you thought cancer was bad, I think that. The problem with coronary heart disease, most things can cause it. If you're obese, if you're diabetic, if you genetically, environmentally, your heart is very fragile. It may be a strong piece of muscle that pumps and pumps and pumps every day, but it only takes one thing to cause a malfunction, and once you have that malfunction, it's very difficult to live with. Risk factors, again, if you just take a look, you know, as I've said, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, no exercise, having diabetes, obesity, and again, hereditary. Prevention of it, very simply, again, a very balanced diet. A great intake of your vitamins, your minerals, your proteins and your carbohydrates in small amounts. You know, don't overload it, you know. The more you eat, the more your heart has to pump to get more blood around the body to feed the stomach, which then absorbs and digests the food. So the more and quicker you eat, the more your heart has to do, which over time can cause, again, just coronary heart disease, just because it's overworking, just trying to digest. Other preventions of serious fatigue, giving up smoking, physical activity, even alcohol reduction can help. And initiatives, the Change for Life, the Balanced Health, Balanced Diet. Again, it can also be found on the NHS site with the Eat Well plate, and the British Heart Foundation have a lot of information. Eat well, play well, talking about, you know, diet and exercise. And the North West Public Health Observatory published an article for the public about coronary heart disease and how you as a family can deal with it and maintain it. And the health and well-being from the DHSSPS coronary heart disease article as well. Another one just to state, you know, what causes coronary heart disease and how to deal with it. And that's my reference list. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just going to ask some questions.
Yeah.